What is going on, guys? How y'all doing all tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here to discuss and to share my thoughts on the 2019 MLB award winners. We, of course, are going to go back. Now, it's been a few years since I've talked about, awards and, predictions and seasons. I've liked how this past year I've gone mostly to, just, small topic videos with baseball to share on the channel. And again, it's been a while since I've done a live stream or whatnot for the MLB. My thing though is again, with my channel already, of course, being more so, the main thing people watch my channel for anymore is definitely my wrestling content. I felt until I get maybe a little bit more of a baseball audience, I think it's best that I just do these videos pre-recorded. So that's what I'm going to do with these award videos as well. And any predictions I do, again, just keep them pre-recorded. If I do grow an audience with baseball, then maybe I will start doing some of these live again, But of course, I feel like I pound out some more content with that in order for that to happen. So we're going to go over these awards. For the most part, as a fan, I'm pretty satisfied. There is really one award, well, it's two, because both for the American League and National League for the same award, that I was kind of a little head scratching at. I was like, not feeling that one. But we will roll in, we will talk about them, and just give my brief thoughts on them as well. Again, overall though, if I get my final thoughts again on the 2022 season. Again, it was definitely a very interesting year. We had 3 moments in history happen, throughout in this season. We got to experience Miguel Cabrera get his 3,000th Major League hit. We got to experience Albert Pujols getting to number 700 as he was off to a slow start, and he apparently almost retired back in June. And of course, we got Aaron Judge, who's probably the biggest name on the free agent market this offseason. We had him break the American League and Yankees single-season home run record of 62 home runs. And it was the first time in 21 years that we experienced a player getting to 60 home runs. We came close with Ryan Howard and Giancarlo Stanton, but we got it right here with Aaron Judge. So, again, as a baseball fan, there are still some things I can look back on and just say that I will remember this season for. Again, we saw that. We also saw Shohei Ohtani as well have another unbelievable year. I feel like he was still great with the bat, but I feel like he even improved a lot as a pitcher. Because let's face it, 2021, I feel like his bat more stood out than his pitching. This year, both his pitching and his batting stood out. I think if he can get a couple more seasons like that underneath his belt, I think he's going to be a shot into the Hall of Fame. Because he's doing something that we don't see many players at all have at all. But of course, we will roll into and talk about some of these players, talk about these names, some of these outstanding performances, and we will get right into it. Of course, I will not have a graphic like we do. We're going to do the Gold Gloves and the Silver Sluggers first. I'm not going to post a photo of every single person that grabs. Just the main ones in that group, basically. So we're going to start off with the Gold Glove Awards. If I can pull those up here. All right, got here. So let's talk about the Gold Gloves. And I only have one person here up in this graphic, but I'll talk about him in a second. But apparently, there were 14 first-time Gold Glove winners this year, which is pretty cool to see for sure. A lot of new names. We have Yankees catcher Jose Trevino, who I believe also took home the Platinum Glove, I believe. I think each league has one person out of those winners get the Platinum Gold Glove. I can't remember who was for the National League, but for the American League, it was Jose. Oh, actually, no, sorry. I have it right here. I have them both right here, actually. Yeah, it was Jose Trevino for the catcher for the Yankees, get the Gold Glove. At first base, it was Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which, again, definitely surprised me for sure, because Vlad Jr. came up as a third baseman, but he was not the best known fielder, got moved over the first. Even heard those rumors he could be taking some more at-bats at the DH role. So to see him get a Gold Glove actually is very, very encouraging. It's kind of like a couple years ago, I think it was 2019? I think it was 2019 whenever the Pirates... Yeah, 2019 when the Pirates got Corey Dickerson. And he was not known at all as a fielder. He was more of a DH. And sure enough, the first full year he had in a while in the outfield, he was he was a Gold Glove winner. Which I think is pretty cool for sure to see. Someone who, you don't expect to be, who hasn't had the best history of being a fielder, a strong fielder, all of a sudden wins a Gold Glove. So that's good to hear about Vlad Jr. Andres Jimenez from the Guardians got the second base Gold Glove. At third base, Ramon Urias of the Orioles got the Gold Glove. The rookie shortstop, Jeremy Pena, the ALCS and the World Series MVP from the Astros, got the shortstop Gold Glove. In left field, we have Stephen Kwan, the Guardians rookie outfielder, who is also one of the 3 finalists for the Rookie of the Year voting. Center field, also from the Guardians, Miles Straw. So we have 4 players from the Guardians get Gold Gloves. We've mentioned 3 of them so far. And right fielder was Astros young upstart Kyle Tucker also. The pitcher was Guardians ace Shane Bieber. And they actually gave out the utility Gold Glove as well to Yankees infielder DJ LeMahieu. And Jose Trevino won the Platinum Gold Glove as well. For the National League, we have JT Realmuto for the Phillies as the catcher's Gold Glove. First base, having a career year, Diamondbacks first baseman Christian Walker. At second base is Rockies second baseman Brendan Rodgers. Third base is Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado. Shortstop was Braves Dansby Swanson, who is now a free agent. In left field, Ian Happ from the Cubs got a Gold Glove. Center fielder was Padres Trent Grisham. And right field was Dodgers outfielder Mookie Betts. And at pitcher, we have Braves ace Max Fried. And utility man was rookie Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals. And the Platinum Gold Glove winner goes out to Nolan Arenado, who, of course, I do want to briefly talk about. Nolan Arenado also makes history. In his 10th Major League season, he's won his 10th straight Gold Glove. And that ties to my all-time favorite, Ichiro Suzuki, for the most consecutive Gold Gloves to start your Major League career. And Arenado's only 31, I will say. I think he's 2 years older than me. 31? And that's pretty awesome. And he's got a lot, knock on wood, I say this all the time and then something happens, but he's got a ton left in the tank also. Let me just pull up Arenado's stats here for a second. Now, Arenado also was one of the finalists for the National League MVP award. He did not get it. He placed third. Let me pull up Arenado's stats here for a second. Just 1 second. Pull it up here. Overall in his career, he's a 289 hitter. He has 299 career home runs. He will get to 300 next year. And 968 RBIs. I'm sure he's won several Silver Sluggers. And he's also now won 10 Gold Gloves. To me, he's just about to have Scott Rowland type numbers as far as offense and defense. And Scott Rowland is basically a year or two away from being voted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I think he has a good shot at getting. He's had a huge increase the past few years, and of course, with this being the first year without Bonds and Schilling and Clemens, like some of the other big names. Of course, David Ortiz, got on the first ballot last year. I think either this year or next year, Scott Rowland will be getting in. And I say that because Nolan Arenado is already right up there with them. Not saying because he's a Cardinal. But you could already be seeing a guy who might be solidifying himself in the Hall of Fame. Those numbers as a third baseman, 10 gold gloves. Yes, I get it. He played most of those with Colorado. I get so sick and tired of people saying stuff like, well, he plays in Colorado. Yes, cool, but you can go elsewhere outside Colorado and put numbers like Nolan Arenado is. He's still doing it with the Cardinals. So, I'm just going to say this right now. I'm predicting a Hall of Famer right here. Maybe a little more numbers, with the offense. Maybe if he gets to 500 homers, maybe first ballot Hall of Famer. If not, I think he will get in pretty quickly. I think he's definitely starting to become one of the best third basemen to play the game for sure. And again, he's only 31 years old. So that's a big accomplishment right there. Getting 10 straight gold gloves to start your major league career. Again, tying Ichiro Suzuki, who also will be a first ballot Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure Ichiro will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And again, if he gets voted in, I'm going to try some way to attend that Hall of Fame ceremony. It's a dream for me. I mean, if it doesn't happen, okay, but it'd be pretty cool if I could. Just saying, you never know. But yes, so congratulations to those Gold Glove winners. Again, the winners once again are for the American League: Jose Trevino, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Andres Jimenez, Ramon Urias, Jeremy Pena, Stephen Kwan, Miles Straw, Kyle Tucker, Shane Bieber, and DJ LeMahieu, with Trevino winning the Platinum Glove. For the National League, JT Realmuto, Christian Walker, Brendan Rodgers, Nolan Arenado, Dansby Swanson, Ian Happ, Trent Grisham, Mookie Betts, Max Fried, Brendan Donovan, and the Platinum Glove goes to, again, Nolan Arenado, who makes history tying Ichiro Suzuki with his 10th straight Gold Glove to start his career. And again, as I'm saying, I think he's already built his case to be in the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to their Gold Glove winners for the 2022 Major League Baseball season. Now, of course, on to, my more favorite parts. Well, of course, definitely with hitting again, defense, fine, but I'm an offense guy. I love watching me some hitting. I love it when the home team I'm watching and rooting for comes up the bat. Because I love the long ball. But, of course, you can get to becoming, a great hitter, whether you're for power or, of course, for average, by being called a Silver Slugger. And of course, this is a foreshadow also to a couple of awards we will be getting later on, mentioning in this video. Excuse me. But our Silver Slugger winners this year for the American League. Of course, this is also the first year for the National League to have a designated hitter Silver Slugger. No more pitcher Silver Sluggers, as pitchers don't bat anymore. Unless you're Shohei Ohtani and you've had a good history before. I'm sure other pitchers probably got some at bats at some point, but those days are over. We have the universal designated hitter now. So anyways, for the American League, at catcher, we had Alejandro Kirk from the Blue Jays. At first base is, I believe, the rookie Nathaniel Lowe. Second base is veteran Astros second baseman Jose Altuve. At third base is Guardians third baseman Jose Ramirez. Shortstop, Red Sox shortstop, now free agent currently, Xander Bogaerts. And in the outfield, we had Aaron Judge, Mariners rookie Julio Rodriguez, and the now so-called franchise player, as they'll definitely be relying on him to be their franchise star for quite some time. And of course, Mike Trout, despite being injured and missing about 30, 40 games and having like a back injury that could affect him in the future, he still knocked out 40 homers in like 110, 120 games. If only he was healthy a couple of those seasons, he could have easily had 50, and it's such a shame. At DH is Astros slugging designated hitter Yordan Alvarez, who, yes, had a bit of a power outage in the second half of the season, but came alive with some big clutch homers in the playoffs. And the utility man is the Twins, who also, I believe, led the American League in batting average this year, Luis Arraez. I mispronounced the name probably, but yes, the American League batting title winner got the utility man Silver Slugger. That's the American League. For the National League, we have Phillies catcher JT Realmuto. Again, probably one of the best catchers today for sure. He got a Silver Slugger. Cardinals first baseman Paul Goldschmidt gets another Silver Slugger award. Second baseman Jeff McNeil from the Mets, who I believe was the leader in batting won the batting title this year. Let me double check that. Just waiting for this to load. And we are correct. Yes, the 326 batting average. He led he led Major League Baseball in batting average and won the batting title. At third base is the future Hall of Famer, as I called it. Cardinals Nolan Arenado. At shortstop for the Dodgers, a big free agent right now, Trey Turner. In the outfield, we got Dodgers Mookie Betts. Phillies Kyle Schwarber, who led the National League with 46 home runs. Had he not cooled off, he could have also gotten to 50, I think. But I'm glad to see him finally crack the 40 homer mark, as Schwarber definitely was due so. And of course, splitting his teams between the Nationals and the Padres was Juan Soto, which, by the way, what was his final batting average, actually? Let me look that up, because I know when he got traded, well, first off, if you also remember, Soto won the home run derby this year. I think he got close to 30 homers. I don't think he broke 30, but he got close to 30, I believe. But I know his batting average was like 246 whenever he got traded. Let me see here. Wow. Yeah, he hit 27 homers, only drove in 62, and hit 242, yet still won a Silver Slugger. Huh. That is definitely an interesting one. Interesting one for sure. Also, well, Josh Bell also who split the year with the Nationals and Padres, former Pirate. He got the designated hitter one. But he hit just 266 with 16 homers. Interesting. And the utility man, I agree with this one for sure, is Brandon Drury, who had a career year splitting the year with the Reds and Padres. So I definitely give him credit and say that is definitely a well-deserved one as well. But yeah, that's your Silver Sluggers. Nothing really history making there with these. But again, let's go over them again. We got Kirk from the Blue Jays, Lowe from the Rangers, rookie, first baseman, Altuve, Jose Ramirez, Xander Bogaerts, Aaron Judge, Julio Rodriguez, Mike Trout, Yordan Alvarez, and Luis Arraez. And then for the National League, JT Realmuto, Paul Goldschmidt, Jeff McNeil, Nolan Arenado, Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, a little surprised to be honest, Josh Bell, and Brandon Drury won the Silver Slugger Awards. All right, one, of course, that I do usually like to acknowledge, of course, let me find that information before I pull that up. Okay. We're going to do our Comeback Player of the Year. It's another award I usually like to talk about. Yes, there's a few others like the Hank Aaron Award and, all this and that. I'm not going to talk about those, but what I'm going to talk about is the Comeback Player of the Year award. One for the National League, one for the American League. Most of these, except for MVP, we're going to start off with the American League. The MVP will do the National League first. But the American League MVP award went to the Astros ace, now free agent, Justin Verlander, who I believe was at 39 years old, won the Cy Young Award, we'll talk about him in a second, for the third time in his career. Verlander, of course, though, after missing nearly 2 seasons to Tommy John surgery, we had the shortened 2020 season, and then 2021 he was out for the whole year, but came back in 2022. And let me tell you something again. Justin Verlander had some amazing years with the Tigers. Slowed up a little bit. But again, since he came over to the Astros, it reignited his career. I think it's pretty safe to say that he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And of course, at 39 years old, he's still going to free agency looking for a big contract. So you could see like a 2 or 3 year deal, worthwhile, coming towards his way. But we'll talk about him more in a little bit because I mentioned he won another award. But the National League Comeback Player of the Year is Albert Pujols. In his final season in Major League Baseball, his 22nd and final season, he got the National League Comeback Player of the Year. At 42 years old, Pujols hit 24 home runs in his final season. And of course, he would reach the 700 home run mark. And again, keep this in mind, as I said in the introduction when I mentioned some great things that happened this year. One of the 3 things I will remember 2022 season for, besides Aaron Judge making history with 62 home runs and Miguel Cabrera getting his 3,000th hit, we saw Albert Pujols become the 4th player in Major League history to get the 700 home runs. And there was a time by the middle of the season I thought, yeah, he's not going to get it. And remember this too, as I said too, Albert Pujols said in an interview, back in June, he almost retired. He almost pulled a Ken Griffey Jr. and went home because he didn't feel like he was contributing. That's why Jr. retired abruptly in June of 2010, June 2nd, 2010. Of course, it was the same. I think it was the same day as when Armando Galarraga's imperfect game. But this guy, who was about to retire, participated in the Home Run Derby. He beat the National League Home Run champion this year, Kyle Schwarber. And people say that some people, tend to, get their swing thrown off from the Derby. Well, Albert Pujols seemed to get his swing back after that Home Run Derby. Because in the second half, he was the Albert Pujols of old. I think he only had 6 or 7 homers, I think it was, by the All-Star break. He didn't have many. So again, I thought he was done. And I thought his chances of getting the 700 homers were over. But then he went on a hot streak. And I think it was September 23rd. He hit the 2 home runs against the Dodgers. And again, I would have loved to have seen him got the 700 in St. Louis. But he still got it in LA, with the Dodgers, a team he played half a season with. Well, most of 2021 with. But of course, that's just as a part-time player. And of course, also, he was the Angels for a good part of his career as well. So, either way, the guy's loved all around the world. I'm happy to see him get this award in his final season. Because again, he obviously was teetering off for sure his last few years. I did have the faith going into the year that he could have gotten those 700 homers. Again, the only time I really lost faith was mid-season. But he got hot again, and I was all aboard saying, let's go. I'm on this ride. And again, as a guy I always said who used to absolutely despise Albert Pujols years and years ago, I have gained a lot of respect for this man. And he, for sure, in my opinion, should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a 296 career hitter, 703 home runs. I think he's second on the all-time RBI list or something like that. He's one of the best of all time. I'll say it right here. Albert Pujols is one of the best of all time. He had a hard time getting me to say years ago, but again, he was that one player. I mean, everybody destroys the Pirates, but Albert Pujols especially destroyed the Pirates. And of course, I remember when Pirates had ace Ian Snell. Remember Ian Snell being the Pirates ace? He only had 1 or 2 good seasons, as most pitchers have to do for the Pirates anymore these days. But I just remember anytime the Cardinals played the Pirates and Ian Snell was pitching, how many times do I hear he absolutely owns Ian Snell? And believe it or not, also, I actually remember one time when the Pirates had Charlie Morton. Albert Pujols one time flat out said, I can't hit this guy. Apparently he was one person he struggled a lot against. But again, he got to be National League Comeback Player of the Year in his final season his final season in Major League Baseball. And again, he's finishing with 703 career home runs. I couldn't be any more happier for the guy. I do look forward to him being a first ballot Hall of Famer in 5 years. And maybe, of course, his good friend who also retired with him, Yadier Molina, could be as well. He is one of the best defensive catchers of all time. I think he has a shot. Maybe not first ballot, but I think he would have a shot in a couple of years after he's on the ballot. All right. Here is the one, well, for both American League and National League, I disagree with. I was head scratching on this. Manager of the Year. So, let me first share the finalists. For the American League, we'll talk about it first. It was Guardians manager Terry Francona, Mariners manager Scott Servais, and Orioles manager Brandon Hyde. And the winner was Terry Francona. Francona led the youngest roster in baseball to win the National League Central crown, even though that's still, in my opinion, probably the weakest division right now. He earned the AL Manager of the Year award for the third time in 10 seasons. I gotta be honest, I'm disappointed. I mean, Terry Francona is a great manager. He's successful. He's had success with the Indians/Guardians. And of course, he also led the Red Sox a few times to the World Series as well. But my thing was, the reason why I'm not completely, supportive of this one is because, again, Terry Francona has nothing to prove. And again, he managed, yes, probably the youngest team in baseball, as I said, with the Guardians. But still, it was in the weakest division. Like, the Guardians still have players that have been able to get them to the postseason. Or, of course, some of them have been on the team for the World Series and whatnot. So, to me, it's like the Guardians didn't prove anything new. Like, okay, here's the other two options. Brandon Hyde for the Orioles. I get that one. The Orioles literally were one of the worst teams in baseball. But they went on a hot streak, won 15, 16 games or something like that. And they got back in the wild card race. And I believe they finished, let me check the standings again. I think they finished fourth, but in a very, very tough American League East. Let me see here. Yeah, they finished fourth in the American League East, but they went 83-79. 4 of the 5 teams in the American League East had a winning record. The only one that didn't was the Red Sox, but they went 78-84. So, okay, I can, see why you would consider him because you made the Orioles a contending team again. My honest opinion, though, who they should have gone with? Scott Servais for the Mariners. Because he led the Mariners to their first, yes, he contended last year. They didn't get the job done and got to the playoffs. This year, though, they did. They got out of the wild card round. Yes, they got swept by the Astros. But it's that's the new big accomplishment. You ended a 21-year postseason drought for the Mariners. Put together a great team. From their pitching that has some veterans and some young upstarts. Same with their batting. Again, they got Julio Rodriguez. They had Eugenio Suarez, Cal Raleigh, Dylan Moore, Ty France, J.P. Crawford. You had a team that brought together a new vibe to baseball. I think they should have gone. I think the award should have gone, in my opinion, to Scott Servais. But Terry Francona was voted for. He won. I respect the guy. If it was me, I would have said Scott Servais. Then we got the National League Manager of the Year. The candidates, first off, I was a little head scratching with because there wasn't really anybody that big of a deal who stood out. Unless it was whoever the Padres manager was. Who was the Padres manager anyways? I forgot who he was. I believe you would have him be in it. but we had guys that we already know can put together a winning ball club. Dave Roberts of the Dodgers, Brian Snitker, whatever heck is how you pronounce it, for the Braves, and Buck Showalter for the Mets. And honestly, again, yes, he led the Mets to the postseason. He got the Mets to get 101 wins. Yes, he had a dominating season. But the Mets still collapsed. They were still, because we checked the standings too, because didn't they drop the lead, or did they just get the wild card, or standings? Let me go back to the standings again, double check this, because okay, they tied with the Braves, but based off their record against each other, the Mets were a wild card, the Braves won the division. So, like, I don't know, the fact that, again, the Mets, like, collapsed a little bit kind of made me feel like, this isn't quite right. I mean, quite frankly, here's my thing. I don't know if it's because he had the interim tag on him. I honestly God would have given Manager of the Year to Rob Thompson, or whoever the Phillies manager is. Because they were losing. They had to fire their manager, and they were able to turn it around, get hot, and not only win one of the wild cards and make the postseason, they also won the freaking pennant. So I think that's a miracle. He was not even on a finalist. I don't know if again because he was just an interim manager, but I would have given it to Rob Thompson, in my opinion, for the National League. Again, like all these choices again, like Snitker, Roberts, Showalter, they've all already proved themselves. So the choices here were, not really quite what was my favorite, but it is what it is. Congratulations still again to them. Again, to Terry Francona for getting the American League Manager of the Year, and Buck Showalter from the Mets for getting National League Manager of the Year. So congratulations still goes out to them. Rookie of the Year. This one, I think, was pretty obvious for the National League, at least. I mean, for the American League, at least. Even though, of course, it was a little close. Well, there's some people you could have considered. But I think, no doubt about it, my American League Rookie of the Year, my prediction, and of course the winner, is Mariners outfielder Julio Rodriguez, who again got signed to that big 12-year extension that could turn into 18 years, depending on like how he places in the MVP ranking and whatnot, or how much playing time he has and whatnot. This guy is a player. Is definitely one of the best players of the future, for sure. And he won after he outlasted Guardians outfielder Stephen Kwan and Orioles Adley Rutschman. I think he was catcher. I think it was, can't remember what position he played, but he was for the Orioles. He did, of course, miss a little bit of time in the last month of the season, so it caused him to not quite get to certain numbers, but he still led all rookies with home runs with 28, and a couple other, strange things, and also total bases, 260. He joined also Mike Trout as the only player in both American League and National League history with at least 25 home runs and 25 stolen bases and an 800 OPS average in their rookie season. Like I said, this man is going to be a very special player. The Mariners, who again are in a very win-now mode, because again, as I said before, in my history of watching baseball, and I always had my heart for Seattle as well, because again, Ichiro, so the Mariners definitely one of my favorite teams for the longest time. Seem to always have like that one season where they were winning and then they came up like a game or two short of the playoffs, just to go back to 100 losses the following season. Back to back where they contended and of course even won a wild card berth and even got to play the playoffs for the first time in 21 years, I think is incredible. And again, Julio Rodriguez is part of that future. And again, they've already made a couple of moves this offseason, of course, as well. The recent one, well, with this video being filmed, I'm sure there might be a couple others might be discussing in the future. But of course, they recently got, of course, Teoscar Hernandez in there. Again, they re-signed Luis Castillo to an extension. They have Robbie Ray in there, and a couple young, solid starting pitchers as well. They're pretty stacked. They are pretty stacked. And again, Julio Rodriguez will be the face of that franchise. So I do look forward to see what he does. The National League Rookie of the Year is Michael Harris II. Now, Harris contended with Cardinals' Brendan Donovan and Braves starting pitcher Spencer Strider, who placed second, as it was the first time, it was only the 8th time in Major League history where teammates finished first and second in the Rookie of the Year voting. But Harris, who did not make his Major League debut until May 28th, hit 19 homers and and stole 20 bases. So a similar player in some ways in the outfield for the Braves, who again I've mentioned several times before, have several players locked up very long term for at least the next 5 years. With Acuna, who was healthy but didn't put up as strong of a season as he normally does, but still solid. Of course, they've moved on from Dansby Swanson, who's a free agent, but could grab one of the other big name shortstops on the free agent market. We got Ozzie Albies, who missed most of the year with injury for a couple years still. Matt Olson, who came over from the Athletics before the season. He got signed to an 8-year deal. Austin Riley, just their third baseman, probably their best player today right now, got signed to a 10-year extension. And again, that pitching staff and whatnot, they're pretty much set. And Michael Harris, in the midst of crowded, spots and whatnot, he was able to pull through and become Rookie of the Year. So I look forward to seeing what else he does in the future for sure in Major League Baseball. But he's off to a very good start, getting the National League Rookie of the Year. All right. 2 more awards, the 2 biggest ones. First, we got the Cy Young Award. For the American League, your finalists were Alex Manoah, I forgot what team he plays for, Dylan Cease for the White Sox. Actually, let me look that up real quick. That's not what I want to do. Alex Manoah. The Blue Jays. Oh, yeah, that's right, the Blue Jays. Again, Dylan Cease from the White Sox. And then Justin Verlander from the Houston Astros. As I said earlier, for Comeback Player of the Year, the winner for the 2022 Cy Young Award, and it is the 3rd time in his career he's won this award, is Justin Verlander. He missed the entire 2021 season again with Tommy John surgery, but of course he came back and had an outstanding season. Let me pull up the numbers and just to tell you how outstanding his season was this year. Let's switch over to pitching. Verlander had an ERA of 1.75 and went 18-4. Yes, his strikeout numbers were a little bit down. He only pitched 28 games and 175 innings pitched and 185 strikeouts. But the former, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, he's set for Hall of Fame. He has 244 career wins, a 3.24 ERA. He's pitched in over 3,000 innings, has 3,198 career strikeouts. He turns 40 in February. But I hear he's looking for a 2 or 3 year deal. We'll have to wait and see, of course, where he goes and how much longer he plays. Because could we see Verlander possibly be trying to gun for 300 wins? I don't know if he can do it. He would have to stay healthy. He would have to have at least 2 20-win seasons, I believe, and play at least for 3 more years. And actually, probably 3. I don't know. I think he could at least pull off 250. I think he at least got 250 in him. But we'll have to wait, of course, and see. But, of course, not only is he the 11th pitcher to win 3 or more Cy Young awards in his career, but he's also the 5th oldest pitcher to do it as well. So, yes, like I said before, again, definitely, I wonder how his career would have gone if he never left Detroit. Because, yes, he was still good, but he was definitely starting to teeter off a little bit. And that trade to the Astros, I believe in 2017 it was? I think it was 2017. At like the very end of like the waivers trade deadline, he has really turned his career around. And heck, he got the pitch. It was once a pitching staff with him and Garrett Cole, and they could be able to Cy Young award. I still thought that 1 year where they were both in it, I felt Cole should have gotten it over Verlander, but it is what it is. But Justin Verlander, definitely one of the best today for sure. Future Hall of Famer, and he's now a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, all of course in the American League. And the National League got a new face, as this man has also made history. Sandy Alcantara from the Miami Marlins becomes the first player in Marlins history to win a Cy Young Award. The only 2 teams, I believe, that have not had a Cy Young winner yet is the Texas Rangers and, are you surprised, but the Colorado Rockies. But Sandy, though, man, like seeing someone like him, I mean, if he was still alive, he could have been traded by now. But could you imagine a rotation with Sandy Alcantara and Jose Fernandez? Oh my gosh. That still having Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, and Marcell Ozuna in your outfield with JT Realmuto as your catcher. Dear Lord, I just think back to how fun and young that Marlins team was in 2016, and then Jose Fernandez had to die. But again, Alcantara, not only made history being the first player for the Miami Marlins to win that title, but at 27 years old, he led the majors in innings pitched with 228 2/3, and he also tossed 6 complete games, more than any other. Not just led the majors, but it was more than any other team combined this year. Outstanding stuff for sure. And again, sometimes you gotta give those new names of recognition, because the other names for Cy Young was Max Fried from the Braves and Julio Urias for the Dodgers. But yes, Sandy Alcantara came along out of the blue, basically. But, congratulations. He deserves this. Now let's get the Rangers and let's get the Rockies a Cy Young winner. Yeah, right, on the Rockies. I highly doubt we'll ever get a Rockies Cy Young Award winner. Okay, that's me saying earlier how I'm like, okay, I hate when people say, well, they played in Colorado. Now I'm doing the same thing because I'm doubting that anybody in Colorado can win a Cy Young Award. I'm guilty. Okay, and of course, last but not least, the MVP Awards. For this one, I will do the National League first. And it's about time this man won the award. So the 2 finalists who did not get it were Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado and Padres third baseman Manny Machado. Both put up outstanding seasons, but the one who got it, Cardinals first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. About time he gets an MVP award. Again, one of the best years of his career by far. He flirted, of course, with the Triple Crown. He hit .317, 35 home runs, and 115 RBIs. He had a very hot second half, too. He had a good first half, but a very hot second half. And it helped the Cardinals win the National League Central title. Again, a guy who, can hit for power, hit for average. Not much speed, of course, but you know, he's definitely one of the best players in the game. And I feel like I wouldn't say he's underrated, but I feel like he sometimes doesn't get quite as much credit as he deserves. Will he make the Hall of Fame? I don't know. Like, Arenado, I can see it. Because he has the numbers, and he has the gold gloves and everything. Goldshipman, I think, maybe could make a run for it if he has a couple more strong years in him. Because how old is Goldie? Let's see how old Goldie is. I can't believe he's already as old as he is. Because I remember he was just a rookie with the Diamondbacks, hitting his first major league homer off of Mr. Timothy Lincecum, as far as I can remember. He's 35 years old. I mean, he has a career batting average of .295, 315 homers, and 1,042 RBIs. So, he's got some strong numbers. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to bet on it, but it's highly possible. I believe the RBIs, well, his best year still, well, he had .297, though. Well, other than the batting average, his best year, like power number-wise, was 2017 when he hit a career-high 36 home runs and drove in 120 RBIs. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Let's go back to 2000. I knew it had to have not been right. Let's go back to 2013, just his third year. He had tied Pedro Alvarez for the National League leading home runs with 36 and drove in a career high 125. And he hit 302. So, okay, give him a little more rub for that season, I would feel like. But still. Hall of Famer, maybe. I will still say maybe. But I feel like you should put up a couple more big numbers. And then he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I think he deserves some possibility for the Hall of Fame. But winning an MVP award definitely helps his case for sure. I'm glad to see the Goldie get this recognition. He's definitely been due for this for a long, long time. Now, of course, so is Nolan Arenado, but his time still could come. He's 31, Goldschmidt's 35. It could change. We will see. All right. The American League MVP. By far, in my opinion, the best player in the league this year. And, of course, he's a free agent. And latest I heard is the Yankees offered him an 8-year, $300 million deal. I think the Yankees would be insane if they didn't re-sign him. Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge had a season for the ages. Again, he not only set the Yankees single-season record, but the American League single-season record with 62 home runs. He also led the majors this year with 131 RBIs, an OPS of 1.111, OPS plus of 211, total bases of 391, and 133 runs scored. He, of course, was overwhelmingly selected for AL MVP over two-way star Shohei Ohtani. Had Judge not made history, Ohtani would have easily gotten the MVP. Because it was also down to him and Astros designated hitter Yordan Alvarez were the three finalists. But there's no way you could have said no to Aaron Judge being MVP. 62 home runs, 131 RBIs, and let me double check here. How many? I think a 311 average? Yeah, 311 average, 62 home runs, 131 RBIs. Give him a little credit with 16 stolen bases. And remember this too. That is like 3 or 4 hitter numbers in your batting order. Aaron Judge, as far as I know, for most of this season, batted leadoff. He batted leadoff, and he's still not only led the league in home runs, but in RBIs. RBIs! He led the league in RBIs as mainly a leadoff hitter. Yes, I've seen the Yankees line for last year. Yes, there's some players I felt could have been up the top than Judge. Judge be hitting like third or fourth in the lineup, I still feel like. But as a leadoff hitter, that is just, again, insane and unbelievable. He, of course, has not yet won a World Series with the Yankees, of course. He may not be, of course. They've been talking about him going to the Giants. Even the Dodgers are interested. Maybe the Mets. But personally, I still think the Yankees would be ridiculous if they did not re-sign him. He's making history. He eventually one day will have his number 99 retired. Has anyone else ever had number 99 retired? I don't think so. I forgot. I saw one time the highest number retired, like 80 something, I think. I can't remember. I think someone from the Cardinals, I think, but I can't remember who he was exactly. But in my opinion, which is why I say him for last, the best player in baseball this year, and not only just the MVP for the American League, but I think the MVP for a whole entire league. This man had an unreal, historic season. And again, if it was not for him, I would have easily given it to Shohei Ohtani. Again, let me just quickly talk about Ohtani's numbers really quick before we go, because this is the last award. Ohtani, let's pull him up. Angels. With the bat this year. Let's start off with that. With the bat this year, average up a little bit. He only hit 257 in 2021. He had more homers, though. He had 46 homers and drove in 100. He had 34 home runs this year and 95 RBIs. Also, the stolen bases were down. He had 26 stolen bases in 2021, just 11 in 2022. But he also hit 273. But now, pitching-wise, so he was 9-2 in 2021 with a 3.18 ERA. This year, 15-9, 2.33 ERA, and he had 219 strikeouts. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge, he would have been MVP. That is rare. Something we may never see again. Or we may never see another guy with his potential. Had Aaron Judge not had the year he had he not made history, easily Ohtani would have been the MVP of the league. I think, at least. But yeah, those, of course, are the winners of the 2022 Major League Baseball awards. Again, the individuals, we already did the Silver Sluggers and Gold Gloves. Justin Verlander won American League Comeback Player of the Year and Cy Young Award winner. Albert Pujols was the National League Comeback Player of the Year. Terry Francona was the American League Manager of the Year. And National League Manager of the Year was Buck Showalter. American League Rookie of the Year, Julio Rodriguez. National League, Michael Harris II. I already said Verlander was the American League Cy Young Award winner. National League, Sandy Alcantara of the Marlins, going to becoming the first Marlin ever to win the Cy Young Award. I was shocked because I really thought that Dontrelle Willis did at one point, but he didn't. National League MVP, Paul Goldschmidt. American League MVP, Aaron Judge. Of course, we'll be back next year to see who gets it next year. Who's on the rise? Who's going down? What more milestones will we see next year? What else will we see? We have a lot, of course, to look forward to. A lot of people to be excited about for Major League Baseball. So, we'll see, of course, what happens. But guys, that's my thoughts on the 2022 Major League Baseball Award winners. What are your guys' thoughts on the awards and on the 2022 Major League Baseball season? Make sure you guys leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of Demand 1993. And of course, you wrestling fans, I know that content is mostly wrestling, but make sure You guys, shout for Meatball Sub. And follow me on TikTok at the Club of the Man 1993. At the recording of this video, I'm one follower short from 100. So let's start off good with 100 followers. And we'll go from there. Until then, guys, I am the Club of the Man 1993. I'll catch you all later. Stay tuned for more baseball news. We do have some more topics to discuss coming up soon. But this is my awards video. I look forward to doing this again next year. So until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your Friday night. And peace out, everybody.